8 o'clock, Robert J. Wright and Aaron McCarty. You can listen online at 710keel.com, Radio Pup app for the smartphone. I said to State Representative Glover when he entered the building, I said, first of all, full Windsor, I'm very impressed on the time. I mean,
yeah, he's looking sharp today.
Did you get first try?
Oh, well, no.
Okay.
And so I had a half Windsor first. The knot was a little narrow. Wanted to bulk it up a little bit. So,
By the way, and remind me, I'm going to remind you of this right now before we get down to tax, as it were. I'm going to remind you of this because between the two of us, one of us should remember, and it'll be you, that I want to put a post on the Facebook for people to, on the website later. We're going to video you writing your name. Is that okay?
okay.
It's the
And
best.
it's awesome. It's the most amazing thing you'll ever see.
Okay.
And there's a story behind it, but it'll all be on the website later.
Can we get right into the juiciness?
Well, let me ask the first question.
Okay.
We have talked to a bunch, starting with Roy Burrell and then Pat Boris and Perkins and
Kent Rogers a bunch.
Cedric is here, and everybody we talk to about I-49 gives us a different answer. And I think everyone involved is very well intentioned, and they have the sincerity of their beliefs. But every time, and we'll start with this one, every time we ask somebody who makes the final decision, it seems to be somebody different. Who makes the final decision?
In terms of
The route of I-49. The final. Here's the way it's going to go, guys.
well, the Metropolitan Planning Organization will ultimately end up making a recommendation to the state. The state will, in conjunction with the Fed folks, put that in as a record of decision.
Now, pardon
then
me.
the process in terms of an established route will
The
attempt to go forward from there
Metropolitan
potentially.
Planning Commission is
Organization.
different. I'm sorry,
Which is under NLCOG.
That is correct.
That's what I was going to ask. That's
Right.
different from NLCOG.
That is correct.
Okay.
Who are those people? Is that the group that's
the mayors,
and
the
parish
heads of the
folks?
commission, the planning commission
the
guys,
Sportran folks?
the sports train folks.
Gotcha.
Exactly. I think there's 9 in total.
Right, which we ran down that list
Correct.
yesterday with Kent, so we got an idea of who's going to do that. Now, how often though do the feds take that recommendation and say, okay, we're going to rubber stamp this and move with it?
Well, I think that ends up being a substantial portion of the input that they look for. I think they obviously review the process to make sure that it actually is in line and represents the best course of action. And I think that's pretty much, I think, the biggest issue that's in dispute right now.
Kent Rogers told us yesterday that what the government looks at, the number one thing that it eventually comes down to not necessarily the EPA, but the Highway Department, etc. And their number one thing, the thing they look at, put the most weight in, is the environmental impact. Is that legit?
Well, I mean, that's a part of the overall process. You're assessing the impact that this is going to have on the environment, the number of homes impacted, businesses, environmental issues, wetlands, and what have you. Also, I think there's a big issue in terms of just whether or not it makes sense to do the project in the first place.
Okay, let's do that. Let's go there because to build the interstate to I-20 where it ends now, and then to pick it back up 3 miles north of there, we should have never drawn it there if we were never going to go through there. Would you agree with that?
No, I wouldn't. Because if you go back 20 plus years ago, when we were starting the process to try and get the funding for the most important part of this whole thing, and that's the 33 miles from 220 up to the Arkansas-Louisiana state line, you had a lot of folks at that time who were arguing that, yeah, we should in fact now do this 3 miles from 20 to 220, which would have accomplished nothing at this point, except to get you quicker from Murphy Street to Cooper Road, which doesn't accomplish a great deal. The very first objective was to actually give the state of Louisiana a true north-south interstate system. And that means that you needed to be able to connect I-220 to I-30 up in Doddridge and Arkansas. We've got that now. And it's taken us over 20 plus years to be able to get that, with the state of Louisiana and the city of Shreveport picking up 60% of the funding, with the feds only putting in half of their usual 80%. For what was clearly, for over 2 decades, considered to be the number one highway priority project for the state of Louisiana.
As the former mayor of Shreveport, you spearheaded the effort to help reinvigorate Mall St. Vincent. We put in the sales tax there, and now we're going to loop the freeway around our city's only mall. That seems inconceivable to me.
I don't think so. I think that what you want to do is to not end up having more interstates due to Shreveport, what's already happened to Texas Avenue, what's already happened to Greenwood Road and Highway 80. I don't want to see North Market end up looking like either one of those. And when you manage to effectively divert traffic when it gets to the city away from those types of corridors, you end up with even a greater loss than I think what you would be imagining in terms of Mall St. Vincent. If you're coming from the south, you're going right past that anyway. If you're coming to Shreveport and you get to I-220 before you get to Mall St. Vincent, I'd love for you to stop on my end of town and see some of the enterprises up on North Market. I'd love for you to stop along Hillary Huckabee and see some of the enterprises that are there, Ford Street, other things that are in the central core of our city.
Aaron has made the point, as have others who are in.
And Aaron, I'll pay for your cursing while we're on, so go ahead and finish
This is
yourself.
awesome.
Hot damn!
Who are in favor of the intercity connector. They've said that well, you know, that I'm just not so sure that people on the way from Arkansas to Lafayette or Lafayette to Arkansas are necessarily going to stop at Mall St. Vincent and do shopping. The point you've made repeatedly is that the numbers, the financial impact numbers, and I think this was a quote of yours, the financial impact numbers that the proponents of the intercity connector make, the financial impact numbers they make are dubious at best.
And I think that report was just released in complete form, I think last week. I've had a chance to start looking through it, and yes, it does look to be.
Expound on what, tell me what that says.
Well, it differentiates between the impact of taking it through the city as opposed to the loop. Well, one is supposedly at $900 million, the other one's only at about $500 million. And it calculates that based upon the 5-mile differential in driving distance, which to me is pretty specious. I mean, that's like somebody saying that it's more economical for you to locate your business in Stonewall if you're going to have to do business with people coming from the south than it is to locate it in Shreveport.